Hello, I'm Louise Chun from Welldoing, and I'm speaking today to Charlotte Fox Weber, who's the author of What We Want. I want to ask Charlotte some questions about client-therapist relationships and what we know about our therapist. Why don't therapists want their clients to know about their private lives?
I think that we feel that it's supposed to be the space for clients and that it needs a kind of clarity and possibility, and that it's not about us. And of course, starting with Freud and psychoanalysis, there was this emphasis on neutrality, but how it plays out is very different. And I think we inevitably disclose something, even if we don't speak.
So if you're looking to get a new therapist, is it a bad idea to Google the name of your therapist?
I think it is very important to have a sense of how your therapist works, but Google won't necessarily give you that information. And I know people who make a point of not Googling their therapist because they want to find out by meeting them. And I think things like accreditation matter, yes, but the most useful way of finding out how a therapist works is to have the experience of therapy.
And what if I find out something about my therapist that makes me feel uncomfortable?
I am so in favor of saying the awkward, uncomfortable things in therapy. Bring it up, because if a therapist has written about something or there's a photo that's out there, of course it can have an impact. And these things can be really helpful, actually, if they're discussed, but it's problematic if you can't discuss it. So the more embarrassing, the more awkward and uncomfortable, the more productive a conversation about it could be.
So if there's something you actually do want to know about your therapist, you should bring it up. You should ask them.
Yes, absolutely. Always bring it up and ask a question if it's bothering you. And say how you feel. And if you are curious about their background, if you want to know something personal, if they don't want to answer it, you can still deal with that. So I think it's important to be able to ask questions that are bothering you and be okay with whatever comes of it. And I mean, therapists should be able to handle those questions as well.
So if you want to know something about your therapist, you should just ask them.
Yes. And sometimes you might ask and you could stay with the question and decide that actually you don't want to find out. So I had a client who wanted to know about my children, and I said, look, I will answer that question. It was questions about my children, not just if I had them. He knew I had children, but we stayed with his curiosity, and I ended up not answering the question. So you can discover that actually you don't need to know as much as you are tempted as well. But all of these issues can be explored and are not just relevant to your specific therapist, but actually can help you learn about yourself and closeness with other human beings.
Thanks, Charlotte. That's really great.